So I'm Chief Education Officer for the Trust, so formerly a head teacher for 20 years, and my role really is about ensuring the quality of teaching and learning across the Trust. We're learning from best practice, we're sharing best practice within our Trust, and that we are really trying to look at the moment, particularly developing that personalised approach to education. We know SEND is a big issue for all schools and a big challenge, and how do we personalise education is really important. And so that's been a key role. Across the Trust, we had although we had the Chromebooks and one-to-one devices, they were being used in some schools really effectively, in other schools not at all. And what we found in terms of learning for pupils is the ability for children to be able to take on their own learning at their own pace was significantly reduced. So you'd often still have the model of the teacher with 30 children, everyone learning at the same pace, regardless of the different abilities within a class. And often that would either be frustrating children who needed to extend their learning or move more quickly through it. And we could see the potential in the schools that were starting to implement the use of one-to-one devices effectively. And we did have one school within our Trust, Grange Park, who had started to embed the use of Nearpod quite effectively. We had another school, Hazelbury, it were midway through the journey of Nearpod. And then we had the other schools that weren't using it at all. And what we did when we were doing our research is the two schools using Nearpod, that's when we became really interested in it in my role, because I could see the potential that Nearpod provided. Having a digital platform, the reason we went with Nearpod, one of the key reasons is that you can share, other things such as YouTube videos and things you could embed. You could work with different Google Docs and things. You can put it all in that platform, that it works with other companies' software. So I think that was a key attraction to it. And I think that the platform as well, we could see how it could be used to structure a whole lesson within one platform. And I think that was a real key, rather than teachers being interrupted by jumping from one screen to the next and having to change different modes all the time, which would lose time. The seamlessness of Nearpod, of being able to put everything into one system, I think was a really attractive part to that in terms of teachers saving times and time not being lost during lesson time. We hadn't come into it specifically thinking about the digital platform. We came at it from a research point of view as a group of deputies across the Trust, looking at learning in every classroom and what was happening for the children's experience. And when we saw what was happening for the children using Nearpod in the school where they were, we saw that they were able to personalise their learning more, that the level of engagement of pupils was higher, that time lost was less. They were all impact things that we observed during those research. And when we spoke to pupils and got pupils' voice about learning, they also spoke about things like the self-paced elements in Nearpod and how they had more control over their learning. And some schools were obviously further down the line than others. But I'd say within a year of that, even the schools who were late adopters to using Nearpod, one of the schools now, a year down the line, is probably showing the best practice of use of Nearpod, which is quite interesting. So in a year have caught up or even accelerated beyond another school. And I think also the bank of resources you've got as Nearpod, being such a big established company, you also have a huge bank of resources and videos and things. So yes, teachers can import things they find themselves, but they've also got a huge bank of resources they can look through and see what's appropriate for their class. So that's really effective too. In terms of for SEND pupils, I think the reading support it gives tools is really helpful for them, and the fact they can put headphones on and listen to audio and see text and have text read to them, I think again is a really useful feature. So in terms of dignity and supporting SEND pupils, I think the fact that for our pupils they can do that self-paced learning, I think up talked about that, about learning going forwards. I think in AI obviously has a big part to play in this as well, but that ability to work at your own pace with dignity and equity, I think has been really important part of this. And I think Nearpod supports in helping us to do that as educators. In the past, yes, we had shared drives and different documents and different things, but teachers would be pulling in different elements. It wouldn't all necessarily be collated, but the fact that in Nearpod it's all together makes it a much simpler starting point when teaching the following year. And revisiting materials. So yeah, definite time saver. Yeah, so I mean, our attendance figures across the trust again have increased and are above national, despite again being some of our schools being in incredibly challenging areas. Our attendance has improved again year on year for the last 3 years while we've been using Nearpod. And is significantly above national. We're delighted to use Nearpod because it is a tool that is a place. It allows us to bring everything in one place. I think that has been the absolute key for us. We didn't want to have something also, it was a product, it was around for a few years and disappears. We wanted something we knew was going to be supported well for the long term, and that's really important if we were going to invest in it. We wanted something that was simple and easy to use. Nearpod has been, and we wanted something that would support the learning strategies, the teaching and learning we wanted to happen in our classrooms, and we felt Nearpod was the platform that best enabled and supported that to happen. So unreservedly recommend it highly, and to any trust. I think Nearpod are a great company to work with. If we want to speak to somebody from Nearpod for support, they're always readily available, really willing to offer CPD and support to our schools. So I think just because you purchase it, you're very much there as a company in the background supporting. And again, we don't feel on our own with it. We feel like we're working with you. And the fact you're very interested in our research and work as well shows you're continually looking to make the product the best for pupils. You're really interested in learning as a company, and you want to make sure it really is moving forwards with us in the education world. So yeah, we recognise and appreciate that too.